Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the only show on Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage. This is ET Now's special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs the opportunity to be front and center on every industry and area that matters to you. Tonight on the show, a panel of experts will answer your questions, and our small giant tonight is PerSapien. Do stay tuned. As always, Uttam, Mr. Dalal, thank you so much for taking the time out tonight to be with us here in studio. It's a brand new show. Let's kickstart tonight's episode with a call that's coming to us from the line of Subhash Chandra Tavde. Go ahead, Subhash Chandra.
We have been offering consultancy and engineering services in the field of environmental control for small, medium and large scale industry for the last 25 to 30 years. So far, with private and public sector, there is no problem. But in the government sector, we find problems in unnecessary delay in decision making and questioning. At this time, there is malpractices and corruption. Because of that, it is difficult for us to deal with the government sector. How we can overcome these problems and make our work possible.
So this is really a catch-22 situation for small businesses or any business. There's a large percent of money and revenue that comes from government businesses, but like Subhash Chandra has just told us on his call, it of course is difficult when it comes to decision making, and therefore the timeline is long. It's also difficult when it comes to getting your money, and we speak about that quite often, that getting payments from large government institutions usually takes much longer than it does with private institutions. What is your advice for him? He's like, how do we ensure that our working process is smooth? We were in one of our previous episodes talking about managing working capital. So if you're managing your working capital is also getting hit because of the payment delays, etc. What would you recommend for him?
Although MSME Act provides that the payment to SME units should be made within 45 days, there have been many instances where the government departments or even large corporates do not make payment on time, and there is a delay which affects the SME units. And therefore, I think there should be stricter discipline as far as government functioning is concerned. E-governance is being introduced increasingly in many states and across the country, which should help the matter. And then there should be less discretion. Robust systems and processes should be in place, and that will, I think, sort out the problem.
Sure.
On a different note, as we say in our corporate structure, there is always an escalation matrix in place. So I think it's high time that the government needs to put in their escalation matrix in place, which is traceable, trackable, and one can see an outcome coming out of it. We see all right intents, at least with all the people, all the right leaders talking in front of us, the kind of policies, the kind of reforms which are flowing in. So definitely we see an intent which is there to grow the economy, grow the business through the sector of all the MSME people that we have. Of course, you cannot clean the entire thing in one day. So if we have right escalation matrix which allows all these low value and small volume companies to come forward with, wherein they can put forward their voices and they can see if there is a resolution, traceable, trackable resolution happening on top of it. I think this will improve over a period of time.
Sure. All right. Subhash Chandra, that's in response to your question. Thanks very much for calling in with that. Let's quickly move on to our next question, and this is coming to us on social media. Nanesh Shukla has written to us on our Facebook page to say, as a new entrepreneur, I've submitted some material to government departments. The procedure under GST is to submit tax within the 20th of the next month. If there's any cost involved, the government doesn't release my payments of time. How can I ensure that I am not getting affected in the process? So just following up on the previous question that we've got in terms of working with the government, there is on one hand, of course, small businesses, you're paying GST and then you are getting your interest credits. But most small businesses tell us that it is still taking time. They still aren't able to see this money coming in on time. So what would you gentlemen then recommend to a small business?
So to answer it, first we did touch based upon this in the previous question which was there, having a right matrix which they can see any delays which are happening. Second, what I also see, there is a lot of, the government does allow certain relaxations in terms of GST payments and all, which I did mention as well. If your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, you can do it once in a quarter, less paperwork, or if the turnover is about 1 crore, flat 1 to 5%, the scale wherein falls to. So it does ease out some of the pressures that these small business owners face. On the other hand, it is also to do with, like probably we are short of time and we cannot talk about more about it, but there are a lot of listed regulations which are there. The awareness which is there in people, in a short span of time, a lot of things are coming up, wherein the government is attributing or giving the benefits of how small business drivers can ease out the pressures of cash, which is the biggest driver, because at the end of the day, any person who is doing a business of 1.5 to 2 crores looks at more of a cash flow rather than looking more in terms of the P&L aspects of things. There are a lot of reforms and a lot of ease outs which have been shared by the government. It's all about how best we are aware of it and we execute it.
Sure. All right. So do keep that in mind, Gnanesh, and thank you very much for that query. Let's quickly move on to our next query, and this one is a tweet that's coming to us from Rajendra Bansali. Rajendra says he's a garment manufacturer. The biggest challenge he says he faces is ultimate consumers, garment manufacturers and exporters are located in different countries. He says there's also uncertainty in minimum wages for unskilled labor and it's increasing every day. So, two-part question. First is as far as exporting is concerned and exports is concerned, and second is of course in terms of payments to unskilled laborers. Maybe I can come to you first, Mr. Dalal. What is your recommendation for an MSME that's in the export market? If he's facing challenges, should he even relook at whether he should be an exporter or not?
Exporting is of course very complex business because you need to know the complexities of the market, the country, and every market will be different, like every country will be different. What are the methods of payment, how the export is to be done, shipment, host of things involved in exporting. If he is too small and he is not able to handle exports by himself, then there are export houses or trading houses. They can do on his behalf and they can add their margin to the price that he is quoting. So that is another way of doing things as far as exports is concerned. With regard to the uncertainty about the minimum wages, I think last year in 2017, the Parliament has passed the Code on Wages Bill 2017, under which the depending on the state and the geographical location, minimum wages are stipulated. Now these are the minimum wages; these are not the actual wages to be paid. And there may be some increase once in 6 months, once a year or so in minimum wages. But then every cost of production undergoes a change, like your raw materials prices may also change, so overheads may also change and wages may also change. Therefore, change is a way of life. You cannot do away with it. You have to factor that in and then price your product accordingly.
Okay, what sort of a margin, in your opinion, should a small business keep for these kind of fluctuations? Whether it's raw material, whether it's labor, manpower, is there a thumb rule about how much you should keep?
There is no thumb rule because it depends on the industry, it depends on the product. But about I guess 10% or so should be okay.
Sure. You're closely associated with the IT industry, and labor, unskilled labor, short-term labor, temporary workers is something that I'm sure you deal with quite often.
Precisely, like in our kind of IT services, if you see 80% of our total cost is the manpower cost. So we do face across some of these challenges. There are certain sectors who are working on low end, or probably I should say the L1, L2 kind of support which goes, wherein the complexity of work is not very high and wherein these unskilled laborers come into the picture. So as rightly mentioned by Mr. Dalal in one of the points, all these factors do come in and one has to keep them into consideration when they are putting a right pricing to the customer in place. Because these are bound to happen as and when the time improves, as and when the time moves on, these changes will happen. And at the same point of time, to ensure that your margins do not impact or do not get vary with such changes, the companies do take advantage of rotating a lot of people within. Like as and when probably if you have to change the band, so if the higher band person goes, replace them with a lower band kind of guy, wherein there is a core team which looks at the focus or the customer facing part, and the team which supports them keeps on rotating. This will ensure that your overall cost is in place. Second, at the same point of time, one can take care of a lot of service providers which are there. Like today, you need not necessarily employ everybody on your rolls. You have certain teams which are certain companies who supply labor. Such companies take the benefit or take the advantage of having a volume of all these people into place, and they play their cost arbitrage portion really well. So you cannot fight every battle that you are into. Some battles you should take help from people outside. So these service providers do help you in this thing.
All right. Rajendra, that's in response to your question. Thank you very much for sending in that tweet. Gentlemen, completely out of time. As always, thank you very much for coming down tonight and talking to our viewers. Thank you. Time for a break. PerSapien is a small giant. We'll tell you what they're doing on the other side of the small break. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on Small Giants, PerSapien is in focus. It's now a well-known fact that India has some of the top polluted cities across the world, and we're seeing more and more innovation really coming about in this area. One such company is PerSapien. Karishma Manjani was in New Delhi and caught up with this company to understand more about the unique product called Air Lens. Take a listen.
Taking your breath away? With the rising levels of pollution in the capital city, it's become essential for you to wear a mask to protect yourself. But let's face it, masks are not comfortable. And finding a solution to this very problem are a slew of startups that have emerged in Delhi. Cashing in on the air pollution control market is PerSapien. Its line of inventions include a 2-centimeter nasal filter and an app that monitors air quality. So let's talk about the device in focus today, Air Lens. What does Air Lens really do?
So it purifies air for personal protection. It's a nasal filter that you simply stick over nose and air is purified, as simple as that. And it's very comfortable. There is no breathing resistance. You can it's fix and go, so you can use it for a whole day without any problem. And we also have an Air Lens data app that gives personal level air quality data. That is, it detects your location, and based on your location it gives what is the air quality at your location in real time. So giving you a sense of what is the type of air you are breathing.
So Shashi, talk to our viewers about your USP. I do understand that face masks cover about 3/4 of our face, but at the same time, what are the benefits of using a nasal filter over a face mask?
So while doing research at AIIMS and doing literature search, we found that more than 90% of air that we breathe is through our nose. And it was surprising then why we need to cover 3/4 our face. Then from there we came with this idea of nasal device. Once you start using nasal device, you can do all your day-to-day activity freely. You can eat, you can talk, you can express. I mean, it doesn't hinder with anything. And let me give you why face masks were designed. They were never designed for general people. They were designed for industries, and some of face masks were designed for hospitals. Even some of the face masks are called surgical masks. So they were not designed, it's just that pollution is there, then people started using it. So there was a need to design something which a user can use for a day.
What are the price points of Air Lens here?
So we are selling it online for 347 rupees. So out of that, around 47 goes for GST. So per day cost of using that device, and usually one pack lasts for a month. So per day cost of using that device is around 10 to 11 rupees only. If you consider mask, good mask comes for 100 to 200 or 250 rupees. So, and they also recommend not to use it regularly for a few days, just 1-2 days only. But when people reuse it, it's not hygienic. In our case, if you consider price point from there for airlines, it's like almost 1/10.
So you spoke about selling the device online. I want to understand, why aren't you targeting the offline market?
We have started focusing on, we have already started we have actually started partnering with distributor, but going to retail takes some time because it's a sort of lengthier process. Online, first thing, is easier to reach, and then offline the channel is a bit bigger. You need a distributor, you need a retailer. Also, if it goes to retail and if there is not enough promotion about the product, then people don't buy it. So we first wanted to create a lot of awareness about the product and then go to retail.
So what have your sales been like?
It's a pretty good response. We started our promotion after or around the launch time, and it's just few months, and we have got a pretty good number of customers from B2B as well as B2C. So a lot of people have bought from our website and then from Amazon, and B2B we have directly sold to some bulk customers. Yeah.
So you're talking about B2B and B2C. A lot of entrepreneurs watching this show are always confused as to which area they should focus more on. So for airlines, what has worked better, B2B or the B2C turf?
It's always, if you are going for B2B, your ease of doing business is easier, because if you need to convince one customer who can buy in bulk. B2C is a bit difficult because you need to promote a lot and then each customer buy one thing. But as an entrepreneur, you should be clear what problem and whose problem are you solving. Let's say you have started with a mission to save people from air pollution, then definitely, even if B2C is a hard way to go, you should go. B2B is easier, but you can also tap in so that your revenue streams are continued, but it doesn't mean that you just keep focusing on B2B, because and that depends on what is the vision of your company or the organization that you have created. So that is a very important point for an entrepreneur to decide before he rolls out any product in the market.
So Airlines Filter comes with an app called the Airlines Data app. Talk to our viewers about what opportunities did you see in the air pollution control market to integrate technology with it.
One very important aspect of air pollution is that people are not aware how bad air is outside. So they don't really know when it is bad, when it is good. So when, let's say, you have smog out there, they know, okay, air is bad. When a smog is not there, they think it's normal. But that is not normal. It's most of time in Delhi, air quality is in poor range. Sometimes it goes to severe, sometimes it goes to very poor. So you need to know what is out in the air. So that's why we made this app, and we made this app in such a way that it gives location specific data. So you detect your location, and based on your location it gives what is the air quality around you. So you know what is the air you are breathing at this point of time.
So how are you advocating the use of such preventive devices?
So our startup PerSapien is doing it in a different way. First thing is the app, because with app and it's a free app, so people get their location specific air quality data. So that is one aspect. The other aspect is we are collaborating with social campaigns, like Hawa Badlo is one of our partner now, which is supported by GAIL India Limited. And with them we are creating this awareness. We are going to a lot of schools, and we are doing some events with traffic police. Let's say we went to a school, there we started talking about air pollution as a whole, and then we told them that, okay, look, these are the solution, but we also told them that you need to protect it, because this is about your life. So start planting trees, start telling your parents to carpool.
So the government came up with various fixes such as the odd even rule and the hike of the parking fees, but none of them seem to be doing their job. So as a manufacturer of a preventive device, what moves do you think the government should make to build a healthier community?
All these things that have been imposed, how well have been then implemented? It's very difficult to implement these policies. And the other thing is they have not been implemented for long enough. And more importantly, there is no analysis, good analysis which say whether these measures are working or not. So now we want to give this message to government that they need to work together with a startup like us and come up with a system where all the changes that you are doing, that should be measured. And based on those measurements, you take some scientific step, whether what need to be changed so that air quality is increasing.
Thanks for talking to us on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you.
India's air quality was among the world's worst during Diwali 2017, and the top hit areas were the northern cities. As we struggle for clean air, entrepreneurs are capitalizing on the terrifying pollution levels by finding new ways to improve air quality. We'll keep a close watch on many more startups like PerSapien, but for now, this market will keep many entrepreneurs on their toes as it constantly evolves.
That's our show tonight. If you want to be featured here on the show, do remember you can always get in touch with us. Here's how. leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com is our email ID. Tweet at us at LOT_ET now or Sunanda_J. That's my personal Twitter handle. Our Facebook page is Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, where you can leave your comments, thoughts, feedback for us. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good night.